Welcome to a new episode of Dead Diaries of Storybricks. My name is Rodolfo Rosini and I'm the CEO of Storybricks. You've never seen me in the previous Dead Diary, and the reason was that because I'm terrible at Dead Diaries. So if you see me looking off camera, I'm writing in my notes. I do apologize. So I want to talk to you about where the art for Storybricks came from. How did you decide to settle a specific type of art, and what was the art process? And the second part of the Dead Diaries, you hear from Matt, who's the art lead for Storybricks. I think the main inspiration for the project, and not just for the art, came from a book called The Illusion of Life. It's a book by the old guys who used to work at Disney, from the early days of Disney. So it's a fantastic book. And talks about the challenges that they had of basically taking these sticks, these lines of early Mickey Mouse, and trying to convey emotion and explain how they went from nothing to the first version of Mickey Mouse, and then went on to do Snow White, and went on and why for 40 years pretty much they dominated completely the animation, and some of the challenges are actually translate very well in a 3D world. So we started looking at sort of like the early period and the late period of Disney animation, especially the period where some guys called Don Bluth and Gary Goldman worked there. They left and started their own animation company. They went to work for they went to do some stuff like Brisby and the Rats of Nim. And in 1983, they did a computer game, an arcade game called Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer was amazing. If you're my generation, it was like the event. Sort of, it was later. It was breaking every minute. It was horribly expensive to play, and it was brutal even by those standards. So I think a quarter would take you something like 20 seconds of gameplay. It was retarded. The main character in this game was called Dirk the Daring. He was a very simple character, very few line, but it was very expressive. Just by looking at what the character was doing and the facial expression, you get what he was thinking about, his emotional state, his intentions, and really a lot of information. And with Storybricks, we really wanted to have that kind of, to convey that sort of emotion to the player. So you know exactly what's happening when the characters are thinking. And we wanted to capture some of Disney magic without necessarily making a game with kids. Especially when we start looking at in some of the Disney movies, and especially the last one was very interesting, the story of Rapunzel. Something that Disney called Tangled, and it was great inspiration. And except if you're a Disney lawyer, we never heard of that movie ever. But it was pretty good. The way they balanced the sort of the characters and the cartoonish, and it was completely in 3D. I think they spent $240 million making that movie. Another great inspiration was a game from Microsoft called Fable. Fable 1, 2, and 3. It's a sort of a hero's journey of very interesting, meaningful choices made by a studio called Lionhead, and also was a great inspiration. But it was single player, and we wanted to do something where you can actually interact in a persistent world on a very long period of time. The main problem that you have today in MMOs is non-player characters essentially have two states. They either completely ignore you, and they're just there offering their quest or buying the crap that nobody wants, or they try to murder you, and that's it. So, and you go between these two states. You go into a dungeon, you kill a few people, or then you go back to town and you sell the items. And hopefully we all agree that there has to be a difference there has to be something in between murder and ignoring someone. There has to be sort of states where maybe you're angry at someone, maybe you feel murderous, maybe you are aggravated, maybe you're irritated, maybe you don't like it and love it, and so forth. And so you start looking at the entire catalog of emotions, and there's a lot of stuff that you can fit in between this gray area between murder and ignore. And early online games, because they're fairly successful just by having these big giant bosses and everybody beating on these bosses, there are no companies really doing this. So we really wanted to have some art that was inspiring, that was more about the animation, it was more about the expression of emotions, so you can understand the status of the characters, and having something that was not about combat and not about murder. Don't get me wrong, murder works fairly well. I think there are 12 million people murderers within Warcraft. I'm been probably one of them for many, many years. I think it's a great game. I think there has to be something different. And that's what Storybricks is about. Welcome to the second part of our Dev Diary. We recorded the Dev Diary in 2 parts, and since yesterday Matt, our art lead, actually got sick. So I'm here with Oliver. Oliver is the art lead, art manager for the company, and he's responsible for pretty much all the digital assets, character creation, animation, the world, and everything. And he's going to talk to us specifically about the animation, and we're going to show some videos on what we're doing. So, Oliver, up to you.
Hi guys. Yes, here at Storybricks we decided that one of the most important things in a game is animation, and that's why in the time that we have we decided to start with animation. We have a set of animations we want to do, it's about 24, and with those animations we are trying to reflect a characterism of different characters and the way they interact with the NPCs as well. And those 24 animations is not only going to be action animations, it's going to have like standing animations, other type of interaction, okay? The NPCs will also interact with NPCs and also with the hero or main character, which will be the player, and it will all be interactive. 24 animations, like I said, and just for the beginning. Once we get more into the project, the animations will be extended to have more variations of all of them as well, plus adding new ones, obviously. Like for example, the fingers will be animated by independently. Okay, that will create a more realistic animation to the player and people playing our game, but not only to the main character, the hero. It will also be for NPCs. Okay, for facial animation in LA Noir, they were doing very realistic facial animations, and what we are trying to do is something pretty similar to that, but ours is going to be more iconic and fantasy look-like. So even though we gave prioritization to animation, which we believe is very important at this stage, and being in the early stage, we are planning to create more screenshots of the world and also the characters that we are doing, so we can also have feedback from you. That is before we release the kind of demo, so it will be a playable demo.
Cool. Well, thanks very much, and looking forward to share more over the next few weeks. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for watching the second episode of our Dev Diaries. Hope you enjoyed and you understand much better the art process and why we are deciding on a certain art style. Please do let us know what you think about this. This is the address of our forums. Follow us on Twitter. Let us know. It's really, really important for us to get feedback early in the process. You're part of our community, and we'd love to hear from you and get feedback and modify whatever thing we're building based on feedback while you're doing development, as opposed to release something and then tell you that's it. Okay, well, thanks again. I'm Rodolfo, hopefully, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.